Hi guys, it's Sunday and this is one of the holy days. Basically, it means a lot of things for different people. For some people, it is a day that they have to relax and have a good time. For some people, it signals the end of the weekend and it is like, oh my God, just Friday I was happy and now it's Sunday and Monday is just around the corner. For some of us, we see it as a day to just, do all the flexing that we have planned for the full week. Different people have different reasons for Sunday. Some people see it as a holy day, the day, especially for Christians, the day that they go to church. And I think it's Sunday, or the Christianity being a state religion, especially through the Romans. I mean, because we use the Roman calendar, the Gregorian calendar, which was by or instituted by Pope Gregory. So we should understand that we are using a calendar which is originally Christian or at least Roman, because the Romans adopted Christianity as an official religion, and that's the reason why it is the backbone of many political structures. So that's the reason why Sunday is a free day for everybody, and everybody observes free day, whether you're a Muslim or whatever you are, you observe a free day on Sunday. But for some of us that don't go to church on Sunday, or some of us who are not exactly Christian, what do we do on Sunday? Well, for one, I can tell you that one of the things you do on Sunday is to listen to my podcast. Targeting a daily podcast, which is daily, a chance for people to come on board and listen, to get one or two ideas that are flowing through my mind, especially in the morning time. Today, my idea is just very simple. It is about do it consciously. That is the simple thing. Do it consciously. When I speak about religion, some people ask me, are you saying you're denouncing everything that you have known all these years of your life, your religion, Christianity and everything? And one point I always tell them, I say, okay, now, it is impossible for me to forget everything I have learned. There are a lot of things I know that have become a part of me subconsciously. I mean, for more than 20-something years of my life, I have simply been a Christian. I have known nothing else than Christianity for the past 20-something years of my life. Bro, there is no way I can forget being a Christian, or being a Christian will totally leave me. And sometimes I just be passing about, oh, Jesus, it is natural, There's some things I will talk about and then I would usually say it a way Christian would say it, because these things have formed my total worldview. But now I do these things consciously. Now, I always say something. I say, I do not have an issue with, I have a lot of Christian friends, for example. I have friends who are priests, who we talk every time. And I cannot be antagonizing Christians. Why? Because Christians are my friends in every aspect of my life. The only thing I plead is that whoever is aligning with religion should do it consciously. They should treat religion as a tool. Now, I've always said this, and I say all religion is ideology, is philosophy. Just the way you read Plato's philosophy. You don't read Plato's philosophy and say, no, you can never argue against this philosophy. Anybody that says anything against this philosophy is blasphemy. No. You can accept certain parts of Plato's philosophy and reject certain parts, because it's philosophy. It's a tool at your disposal. It is not a thing that controls your life. Now, one thing I would like a lot of people to understand is that religion is not meant to control your life. You are meant to be the one, in control of everything that is in your life. Everything that has to do with your life has to be under your control. So that's one thing I have noticed. For religion, you don't do it consciously. Many people have never for once interrogated why they do certain things that they do in church. They say, go to church, cover your hair. You have never asked why. You see, so that the Holy Spirit will enter, or so that the Holy Spirit will not be angry. When we're small. Or they'll tell you to open your hair as a man. Don't wear a cap in the church. Why? Because so that the Holy Spirit can enter. I was like, but the Holy Spirit can enter my own. Why is it not entering this girl? Because you are told her to cover her hair. Now, these things are usually from the Jewish tradition of veiling. It's a Jewish tradition. It was even a Jewish law. And mind you, Christians will say they're not under the law, but they will still follow all of those things. There is no point at which wearing a cap in church should be wrong. And in fact, there are a lot of categories of people that are allowed to wear a cap in church, by the way. But let's not even go into that. There should be no part where wearing a cap is wrong, because if you say according to our culture we remove our caps when we want to show respect to people, that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, we have a lot of cultures that do not need to remove their cap to show respect. And there are a lot of times, even in our tradition, whereby we keep our caps on under buildings, even when there are respectful people there. So at the same time too, I don't see any hindrance to my worship. If at all I'm receiving God, I don't feel like God, because of how he has been projected, should have an issue with my cap. But that's not even the thing. The thing is that nobody interrogates these things. You say to come to church on so day, you go. Do this particular fasting, you do. Do this on the... None of us interrogate the things that we believe and the things that we live by. And that is you living life subconsciously. You are living life like you are being controlled by something else. I want you to know what church is for what it is by the time you go. If you insist that you are going to church, then see it as a tool. I always say something, I say everything is placebo. Everything is an ideology. Everything is a tool. You are the only constant in all of these things. Now, I can decide that for me to access my higher self, for me to connect to the spiritual side of me, or to the God essence, the creative power that exists for me, I want to use this particular tool to direct me to that. Now, there are some things that help our vibration to connect, right? There are some activities. Some people is meditation. Some people is, fasting. Some people is different things that can help them. But you have to see those things as a tool. Jesus is a tool. Muhammad is a tool. Buddhism, whatever religion you can think of is simply a tool to access the divine, or to access the spiritual part of us. And personally, I believe that God is inside you. There is no need to be searching for God anywhere else. And I believe that anybody that tells you that God is outside you, or you do not have the capacity to connect with God on your own, is trying to sell you something. The first step to sell anything is to create a demand. So if a person comes to meet you and tells you that you do not have the ability to connect to God or the creative power, or in fact something that you are the source of, the person tells you that you are not able to connect to that thing, the person is trying to create a lacuna or a space where they will come and feel in your life. Now they will not tell you that, oh, I know you want to connect to God, but you don't have the ability because you are a sinner, you are sinful, you are this one. Now we will be the bridge between you and God. And that's where the church comes in, tries to be a bridge, a gatekeeper of God, a point where you cannot get to God except through them. Not just the church, every other religion, comes from that perspective of gatekeeping God, saying that it is through our means that you get to God. But God is not limited. The energy which we call God, or which we have described as God, is not limited to anybody's ideology or anybody's way of getting to it. Because that is the source of all things. The source of all things means all things can lead back to it. And the most sublime channel for wisdom is you. The wisdom that drops in your heart, the intuition, those things that drop in your heart. That's why you use the word inspiration. From the Latin word inspirare, in spiritus, inspirare, which means to breathe in, If when something is like a breath being breathed into something to make it begin to move. And inspiration is anything that gives life to something. There is something that, that spurs you to be animate. So there are a lot of messages that we receive, which is the most... Now, of course, we can be inspired from different means. You can be inspired by virtue of reading books. You can be inspired by virtue of the movies you see. Those are also inspirations. They are ways that breathe into you. So you, as your mind, which is the controlling force for your body, needs a source. Something has to go into that your mind. Now, see the mind. I have always made this analogy. I said, see the mind as a generator, and you have a house, right? So you have a house that is connected to electricity. For you to have electricity, you need to put on the generator. The generator is your mind. It's your mind that creates whatever reality that you have. But there has to be something that fuels the mind. What is those things that fuel the mind? The fuel, the petrol where you put in the generator, can be likened to the spirit or to the inspiration that goes into man. And inspiration comes from different ways, but the purest form of inspiration is that one that makes you to connect to your true self, and that one that is an out-of-body experience. But an out-of-body experience is not the same as an out-of-self experience, because you are not just your body. You are also your spirit. You are also your mind. All of those things make up you. So out of body is not out of self, because even that spirit side is also a part of yourself. And that is just the reality of these things. Out of body would never be the same as out of mind. And let us be wise enough not to think that that is the situation. That out of body, it must be out of self. So that is the most sublime point. So for me, I don't believe that there is any journey you are going outside yourself, or outside yourself in search of God. That someone will tell you that it is through him. That's why pastors can manipulate people. That's why different religious leaders can manipulate people, because people have outsourced the thing that they can do for themselves to someone else. They have believed that God resides in one place, that one person is going to take you to God. These things are tools. If you want to use the teachings of Jesus, for example, or you want to use some of these practices that the church has recommended to improve your spiritual life, see it as a tool. Don't see yourself as a tool to be used. Now, religion kind of encourages people to see themselves as tools to be used. And it's funny, but that is just the truth. Religion really, encourages people to see themselves as tools to be used. So lack of awareness is dangerous. The most dangerous thing is lack of awareness. Self-awareness, self-knowledge, in simple terms, how you know yourself is very important. Because man know thyself is the most important advice that you can actually take. Because what works for you doesn't really work for me. So we have a lot of people that are, for example, now trying to use the tools that first use the one that church has prescribed, and this doesn't work with them. Because for you to accept those things, you have to deny yourself. You have to lose your individuality and follow the collective. You have to follow the collective. It means that by the time you see actions in your life, you do not approach them from an objective perspective and not say, okay, let me even understand these actions or these things that have happened in my life, and then I will not give it a meaning. You already have a preconceived meaning that has been prescribed to you by your religion. So you want to approach a particular life action or a particular action that happened in your life, you have already summarized. You have already summarized what it's going to be. You already know what it's going to be. If they ask you a question about certain things now, you already know exactly the answer you're going to, because your religion has told you how to view that particular thing. So it's not surprising that you're talking to somebody about a very neutral point. You just say, but no, the Bible said, I say, the Bible cannot be the yardstick for judging everything that people do in their lives, especially if not everyone here is a Christian. Why does everybody assume that the holy books have to be the guidance for everyone's life? So we're even in a board meeting or we're in a clear meeting, we're just having a discussion, and somebody will not say, no, that thing you said is wrong because Jesus, oh my God. Your religion does not summarize your full world, but that's what it does, because it tells you to lose your individuality. It tells you to lose yourself. The advice is simple, to lose yourself. So I say, you must know it, and you must bring it to a conscious level. You have to participate knowingly. If I go to church and I know that I'm trying to raise my vibration, I understand that some kind of choral music is good for raising my, because sometimes I just listen to, if I want to like have a good time, or maybe I want to just raise my vibration, I want to visualize something or meditate, I could play some classical music, just be going in the background, and makes me feel really good. It raises my spirit. So yes, of course, people going to church can raise their spirit through that means, but they have to participate knowingly. So I have friends in church who go to church who are aware. They know wetin dey sup for here. They use it as a tool. They don't make themselves tools to be controlled by the organization. They use the tools presented by the organization and see if they work for them. The ones that don't work for them, they drop it. They are not a tool to be used. Most religious people are encouraged to see themselves as tools to be used. They tell you, let the Spirit use you. Let God use you. At some point, you begin to lose, the consciousness of the things that you do. You say you are being controlled by one other power. You let things go. Of course, it is good to let things go, by the way. I mean, there are a lot of things that we hold on to our minds which are very heavy for us, and it's good to actually have a way to let them go. Like I said, all of these things are tools. You are not the tool being used. You are using that tool. You are more powerful than Jesus. You're more powerful than Muhammad or anything. You are the one that gives it power. If we all gather here and decide to use a particular name to wield a particular thing, of course, we give that thing power. Your gathering is what makes church have any meaning. If you're not there, church will have no meaning. Everything that exists in this life needs people to give it validation, needs people to come together and give it meaning. The only thing that does not need people to come together and give it meaning is the things you know by yourself. The things that come from that the mental origin of that thing is from you. Things that come from a very clear point of view from you. Those are the things that you really do not need, that you really do not need an external validation to make powerful, because you're already powerful by yourself. However, there are a lot of things that you create, a lot of things that you create that you actually need validation from people. When you have a business idea, it's the fact that people are buying that thing that makes it worth anything. If I bring up an idea and if I write a book and nobody reads it, it is the people reading it, people pushing the book, people aligning with it that makes it worthwhile. Power is gotten where people are. And if you have listened to the Game of Thrones, one Game of Thrones quote, he said, one person asked, the person was talking about which one is mightier? Is it I've forgotten, is it the commander or something? I've forgotten how he put it. But then the answer to that question was, power resides where the people believe it resides. Power resides where the people believe it resides. And that is exactly what many of the organizations know. They know that the more people that they can get to believe things and act in a certain way, it validates that thing and gives that thing more power. The energy that is powerful or present in church is yours. You collectively contribute that energy. So anyway, that's why I'm very conscious about anywhere I find myself. I know that anywhere I am, my energy is also contributing to whatever is going on in that place. So I need to be very conscious about the spaces I find myself. So people that understand that this is just a tool and they are not the tools to be used, but they are the ones to use a tool, they know how to navigate these things. So I would not tell you what to do. I will not tell you whether to go to church or not. I'll never tell you whether to be a Christian or not be a Christian. But I say do it consciously. Many of us are doing it simply because this is what we have always known all our lives. Our parents simply give us this religion. Many of us do not have on our own any experience we won't say that the things we believe in are authentic. How many of us really have an experience that will say, and many of us, we won't fake the experience, because people tell you, if I'm in a group of people, let's say we have 5 people now, this person says, oh my God, I saw Jesus. This person says, oh my God, I saw Jesus. At some point, you will not want to be the only one left alone. You say, I saw Jesus too. Because It is contagious. We are social beings naturally. So humans understand that when you gather people together, there's a groupthink mentality. Once people start aligning in certain ways, it is very easy that the people that are left out will feel like outliers, and to fit into the group, to fit into the community, will naturally start to behave, or even first of all, they begin to fake it until it now becomes a reality for them. So we should understand something, that our mind is what creates every reality. So if you believe that social thing exists or social thing is, it will definitely start beginning to exist. But it's not because those things exist, it is because you created them to exist. Everything that exists is created by you. You are the only constant in all of this. So you're born into a family and they told you that, oh yeah, this is the way to do things. They tell you that you're not meant to do this, you're not meant to do that. And they tell you that we're forbidden from eating this particular food. And you just simply start doing those things. Someone tells you that, no man should see your hair. It is forbidden, it's haram. And all of a sudden, you have a beautiful hair, you have to cover it. All of these things were given to you. You didn't interrogate any of them. You didn't see any reason to even ask, okay, why is this thing such a very, very important element in our religion? What does it really do for the human person? There's some people can say, if you're asking this kind of question, it shows that there's a demon inside you. Then they go and cast out the demon. Small time too, they look at you and they say, Baya, do this thing so that you don't go to hell. Because they know that some people would rebel. Some people will say, why are we doing things in this particular fashion? We don't need to do things in this particular fashion. Then they'll warn those people. They say, oh, do you want to go to hell? That is the fear factor aligned to the thing. So once you align a thing with emotions, strong emotions like community, and the fear of ostracization from a community, from a community, and you also threaten them with the fear of a bad afterlife, there is no way you will not clip them. The greatest tools of religion is fear. Also, that idea of love, which can be taken from you. You feel like, oh my God, I have to be in this loving family that gives me a sense of belonging. So they use strong ties like community, strong ties like love, strong ties like fear. Sanctions, punishments. Now you say, oh, God is so loving, but there's times you will not be loving. No, but wise up now and do. So now my main point here is, anywhere you go to, these things mostly have been given to you by virtue of your experience in life. See, I have some things that I still do today that I know that I wouldn't have been doing these things if I was maybe born in a different family or in a different environment. But I know those things consciously, and I decided to accept those things. There are things I still do today. There are some beliefs I still hold today. It is because I've interrogated them. I say, okay, even if not them give me this belief makes sense because I don't already check them, and I don't see where they function, and I am using it as a tool. I am still the controller of this whole thing. Some of us have surrendered. Some of us we don't know any other reality than what was presented to us since when we were a baby. And because of that, we bastardize or insult or vilify every other, demonize every other, thoughts. Some of you, they will simply tell you, oh, this, your hairstyle is demonic. And then you travel to another country and see that, it's not demonic here. Maybe a more liberal country, for example. I'm just giving an example with Africa. Then you find out that many things that you consider to be spiritual or evil are not exactly that. There are many things I said I would never try, simply because of my background. But on trying them, I won't find that there's even a lot of benefits to these things. I have gone through checked through, done research on different religions. And I find that all of them are useful. All of them have very useful components. but only if you approach them as tools to be used in your life, not you as a tool to be used by those who control this organization. Man, that's all I'm going to say today. So I'm friendly with everyone. I have Christian friends. I have a lot of guys, who I know that are even aware, who are in the priesthood, who are pastors, but they are sharp, aware people. They know say all of these things now too. They know that all of these things are tools. So it is not possible for me. Some people feel like I cannot be anti-Christian. That would be me being anti everything in my life. Because everything that surrounds me is purely Christian. My family, especially a large part of my family is Christian, first of all. A large part of my family has been Christian for years. And all of a sudden, I'll just say, I can't hate Christianity. I cannot hate even religion. My main point is, how do we approach this? And I said something before. I said, religion makes sense as a gathering of believers, but not as a gatekeeper of God. If you say you believe something and another person believes something, and you truly believe that thing, you say, okay, let us gather together since we all believe this thing. But if in all of those things, you also hold a mindset that this is the only way, if you drop out of this way, you are doomed. You begin to control people's thinking. You begin to tell people that there are some thinking that they might have, some question that they will have, which is blasphemous. Questioning God, questioning the will of God, doubting God. These are supposed to be bad things. Meanwhile, these are the only ways by which people can actually have any substantive knowledge of anything. So I only criticize the structures that have been put in place to make people to stop thinking. I do not criticize all activities which could actually help people to grow spiritually. But then what is the idea of spiritual growth you are having? You think that there is something that is not within your control, that is outside, that is the thing that controls you, that controls your life. No, there's no such thing. You are the constant in everything. And everything is happening as it ought to be. Of course, me being born in a Christian family is not a waste. It's not like they made the one mistake, come born me for Christian family. No, there's nothing like a mistake. Everything happened because it ought to happen. So the knowledge I have of Christianity, I can't throw it away. There are a lot of good knowledge I've gotten from Christianity, a lot of proper shaping. However, at some point when your brain is fully formed, you will now have the audacity or the ability to pick, to choose. Oh, this is where I gain value. Oh, this place I don't gain value. All that I gain here is shame and self-condemnation. Oh, I like what Jesus Christ said in this place. Oh, I don't like what he said here. I don't agree with this. You have the ability to agree or not agree. The very fact that as I'm saying this, some people are like, oh my God, you mean I can? You are telling me now that you can disagree with Jesus? Oh, blasphemy is a sign that you are not thinking, but you are the tool of other people's thinking. Other people's thinking have been so deeply embedded in you that you have difficulty analyzing it for what it is, which is simply the thoughts of others. Of course, we are all inspired by the thoughts of others, but we have to have the ability to pick and choose. Self-awareness, knowing yourself, knowing the things that work for you and the things that don't. Picking and choosing the things that will be tools in your life are very, very important. 100% sacrosanct. And if you miss out on this thing, then you'll be like one of the sheep, just moving all around. I think even the word is even well put. The sheep. It means fools, people that cannot think for themselves. So you see, all those words are well chosen. My main point is this. in all you do. Whether you want to be a Christian, you want to be a Buddhist, whatever thing you want to do, whatever association you want to align yourself with, you are free. But do it consciously. Use it as a tool. Do not become the tool. Stay wise.